The last and fifth stage is the rock on stage. This is between 750K to about 1 million. And again, the dollar amounts are not as important because I see many multi-million dollar companies that are not at the rock on stage yet. They haven't quite refined the other 4 stages. So their business model is not quite there yet. But if you do the work and stay in your lane as you're moving through the stages and really double down on the skills you need to grow in each stage and really build those foundational pieces every step of the way, you're going to build a very solid business and you're going to get to the rock on stage a lot quicker with a whole lot more ease than if you just hustle and throw spaghetti on the wall and try to see if you can make it happen. So in the rock on stage, the business really runs without you. You can take a month off and money is still coming in and the business is still growing. You have this flow. So last summer, my husband and I spent 3.5 months in Europe. We both turned 50 that summer. So it was like our big party we threw for ourselves, was spending time in my hometown, Helsingborg in Sweden, where my mama lives, and also spending some time on Mallorca with friends and spending some time in Switzerland, in Vevey, in the French part of Switzerland, on Geneva Lake, where I'm born. We just had a fantastic time traveling and enjoying some really amazing time with family and friends that I haven't seen in a long time. And my business was still running. My things were still happening. Money was still coming in. Everything was just flowing because we have gone through the stages. We have the building blocks in place. Some of the thoughts that you may have in the rock on stage are things like, wow, it's really running without me. This is amazing. Now I want to go on vacation. I want to take time away. This is so cool. And then there's actually this thought that oftentimes happens that you may not think about when you're in the hustle and bustle of scaling the business and you still haven't made it there. But there is this thing that happens like, what am I supposed to do now? So much of our worth and who we are and identity is built into the business we grow and the success we created and in the doing of things. Sometimes when there's not that much left to do, we may feel unworthy, like we haven't actually earned our worth, or maybe even a little bit bored. Like, what am I supposed to be doing now? Like, I'm used to being super busy and I don't really know what I'm supposed to be doing with my time. Maybe even feeling a little bit like I worry that things are going to go sideways if I'm not there tending to it. So you may actually start micromanaging when you don't need to in this stage. Number one thing to focus on in the rock on stage is keep refining, keep automating, keep simplifying, always review your business on those terms. And now it gets a lot easier because you've done so much of the heavy lifting through the other 4 stages. But here you don't want to leave that, and also in the online world, things are changing so quickly. We need to adapt to the market. We need to be flexible with how we do things. So we constantly kind of have to have checks and balances in place so that we can really have our pulse on our business still and know where all the moving pieces are in place. And so that we can track if things goes a little bit off and we can refine it and bring it back. You can keep building that momentum. The other things to focus on is really leading leaders. You're now really a true leader. So your job is really to impact other leaders and step up to become the leader of leaders and show people the way. Number one thing to gets in the way in the rock on stage is getting bored without all that action and being constantly in the doing. And then you start adding complexity back into your business, or you start micromanaging everything. You start actually messing it up. So again, really important to do your work in trauma and managing your neurology, really regulating your nervous system like we talked about in startup stage. And that's something that should never stop. That's something you do in the scale up and the team up and the rock on. But if you've done a lot of that work, it gets a lot easier when you get into the rock on stage and you're not going to mess it up quite as quickly or as much. Also, the number one thing that gets in the way in the rock on stage is that many of us, we're visionaries, right? So we always have brilliant ideas. And so we start something new, taking your energy away from the business that's super successful. And now you're starting a new business. And sometimes that works really well. But one thing you have to keep in mind is that your business runs on your energy as the CEO. Now, I don't mean that it doesn't run on your effort. I think sometimes we think that it runs on our effort. Like if we don't put the effort in, it's going to fall apart. But in reality, in the rock on stage, it still runs on around your energy. And energy, what I mean by that is more about how you show up and the vibration you hold and the energy you hold, and your business will synchronize to your energy. So for example, if you feel overwhelmed, burnt out, exhausted, your business growth will slow down. No matter if you're spending more money on ads, building fancier funnel, trying new tactics, your business would automatically start slowing down because you, as the CEO, don't have energetically the capacity to hold more. Well, the same is true in the Rock On stage. If you pulled your energy away from the business and get all excited in another direction, then that business, you're not holding the vibration for that business that was doing really well and is being super successful enough for it to actually sustain that business. And then that business will start shrinking as well. It's really important to keep that in mind. It's perfectly fine to open a second business and doing different things and being involved in different adventures, different opportunities, but just keep in mind how you are holding yourself and the capacity for your energetic field to hold both businesses or 3 businesses or 50 businesses, but that actually require a level of expansion to hold that energetically and to not abandon the business that's doing really well and lose all the effort that you put into it because you now focus somewhere else. So the Rock On stage, the leadership here, it's really about leading yourself, leading your vision, leading your community, leading your team. It's like putting all of these pieces together and doing that almost seamlessly. It just becomes a part of who you are. This is how you show up. You're the ultimate leader at this point. You're really starting to gain lasting influence in your industry. People are getting to know you. You are the one that I refer to when I talk about what it is that you do in your business. And you are leading other leaders now. You're really becoming the leader of the leaders. And where do you want to take the industry? Where are you leading people? This really becomes very interesting. You now become the innovator, the person that people are going to be looking to for the next level of growth in the industry. Your energy is really about creating that momentum and leading people somewhere. Where are you taking them? What's the vision? In some ways, it's just what you've been doing in your business, but you just open it up to more out in the world in an even bigger way. You're still doing it in your business, but now your business is kind of self-run with a team that you put in place, and you can now really expand your reach and your energetic field into the community at large, the industry at large. And skills you want to grow in the Rock On stage is create the table where the leaders you want to be around and invite them in. So there may have been a time in your business or in your entrepreneurial journey where you felt a little rejected, a little hurt because you weren't invited in to hang out with the cool kids in the industry. You didn't get a seat at a table. Now in the Rock On stage, you're in a position to actually host the table, to bring in the leaders that you want to play with and have them sit around your table and host that table. And this is really where you're growing more into mentorship, or you are mentoring other leaders, and you're starting to invest in long-term investment vehicles. So this is really where you utilize your business now more as cash flow for your dream life and to build real wealth and to really expand your vision into the world in a bigger way, in a more impactful way. And this is where you really build your legacy work. These are the 5 stages of a business. I know I spent a lot of time today kind of really diving into the little details of every single stage: the dream up, the startup, the scale up, the team up, and the Rock On stage, really guiding you through what needs to happen in each stage. So my homework for you is to watch the video, listen to the audio, how many times you need to listen to the podcast, tune in and check it out. And if you're watching the video, it's on YouTube as well. You can watch the video, but really taking the time to understand where you are. What is the stage that you're in right now? Are you in the dream up? Are you in the startup? Are you in the scale up? Are you on the team up? Are you on the Rock On stage? Are you a true visionary where you know that you're not looking to build an empire? You're not moving into the team up stage or the Rock On stage. You want to just stay in the dream up, startup, and scale up stage and get things kind of really dialed in a very comfortable, high profitable business that really fits your visionary ideal? Or are you really an empire builder and you really want to build the big industry disruptive company empire, and you are going all in to go through the team up stage and the Rock On stage and do all the growth that it takes to get there? Really sit with yourself and get honest with what it is that you really want to create and identify what stage you are truly in right now so that you can go all in and focus on your lane, where you are, and focus on the skills that you need to build and get really good at in that stage. Then just move through the stages. If you're somebody that identify as somebody that you're already in multiple six figures or maybe multiple seven figures, and you realize there's some steps you skipped, there's some things you haven't really refined in your business that you don't really have in place, go back and go through the dream up stage, the startup stage, the scale up stage, the team up stage, and the rock on stage, and really look, what are the skill sets you need to learn, and set quarterly goals to really go all in refining the dream up stage and getting everything dialed in. Then move on to the startup stage, do another quarter of just refining the things that we talk about there, and go through each one of the stages with very intentional ways to refine it so that the momentum can really be built. The reality is, if you are multi-six or multi-7 already, the refinement process and eliminating the capacity blocks that are stopping you from really scaling and really growing at the level that you really want to is really incredible way to just almost create a vacuum for growth in your business. It becomes so effortless once you start eliminating the capacity blocks and really refining what you already have in place, that the growth starts happening practically by itself. There's not any more, because the reality is you're doing so much in your business already to make it grow, but you are bumping into the capacity blocks, which makes it really hard. And if you're simplifying and then the efforts are already being put in, it will naturally grow very rapidly. This is where many of our clients, we're seeing $100,000 to $300,000 increase in revenue for already successful businesses just in the first 90 days of starting this refinement process. So thank you. If you listened to this whole podcast or hung out here on YouTube with a video, I just want to say thank you for hanging out with me. I know I covered a lot of information. Don't worry. We're going to be starting to break all of these pieces down inside the podcast and also on the YouTube channel to really dive in and go deeper into each piece. And of course, this is something that we do inside our accelerator program. So if you want support and you feel like you want to get the help to actually put these stages in place and do this really in the right way to make scaling so much easier for you and your business, then by all means reach out. And it doesn't matter if you are in the dream up stage, startup stage, scale up stage, team up stage, or the rock on stage. We work with people at all levels and really help you to refine exactly where you are in your business to get you that momentum that you're looking for. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.